Cleaning your cartridges is a very important step in maintaining your collection. We already did a video on how to clean Nintendo cartridges, and that's pretty universal, but there are some specifics with some different consoles that I'd like to go over in this video, most notably with ATARI cartridges. So out of all of these cartridges, ATARI ones are like some of the oldest, and more often than not, the schnastiest. But on ATARI 2600 cartridges, there's this little trap door inside that covers the pins. That's pretty dang cool, so you won't damage the pins or get unnecessary dirt and schmutz on it, but it makes cleaning it a little difficult. What you're gonna need is your big old pack of Q-tips, your 91% alcohol. Make sure it's 91% or higher because the rest of the contents in here is water, and you want the least amount of water and most amount of rubbing alcohol as you can get. Otherwise, you'll leave too much water on the pins, and it can corrode and rust those copper pins, which is a big no-no. With the higher alcohol content, it evaporates faster, and you're all set. You'll also need a skinny screwdriver or some sort of small poking device like a toothpick or a chopstick. You're going to want to get your Q-tip ready before the next step, or else you're going to wish you had 4 arms. Take the Q-tip, stick it in the little nozzle of the rubbing alcohol, and do a little squeezy to avoid pouring alcohol everywhere. Alright, so here is a copy of Combat, a classic 2600 game, and as you can see, we have this trap door here that when you push on it, it goes nowhere. You have these 2 little prongy doodaddies that stick into the actual console, and next to each of them, there's a little slot. You can also see the long slot here with the cover that, yeah, that's where the chip is. So you see these little slots here. If you push in there with this screwdriver, you'll see the little trap door over the actual pin slot open up. You really only have to push it in on one side, it'll work either way. So once you push that in and you see the board revealed, you can actually push down on the whole trap door. Push it the rest of the way with your finger, and then you're gonna have to hold it like this. Now you can see the board in there perfectly. Once you got this held down, you wanna grab your Q-tip and take the side saturated with the rubbing alcohol and start rubbing down those pins. You don't have to be too gentle, the Q-tips are gentle enough. You want to make sure you get both sides of the board completely cleaned down. All of these pins have to make contact with the pin connectors inside the system for your game to actually play. Once that's done, your Q-tip will look like this. Now take the dry side of the Q-tip and just wipe down any excess moisture and clean up any of the other loose dust and dirt that the rubbing alcohol has loosened up. And that's all there is to it. Pop it into your console and see if it works. If it doesn't, you might have to do this a couple more times because in the end, these cartridges tend to be pretty nasty. Now the 2600 wasn't quite as specific as Nintendo was with the NES and their actual branded cartridges. So every different developer had a different shaped cartridge. This is what Parker Brothers cartridges look like, and here's a Magic. There's a few other different types, but these are just ones that I grabbed off the shelf. The nice thing about these is that they don't have those trap doors, so you don't have to worry about having your little pokey device and pushing that thing down and holding it there with your finger. But once we went further and we got to the ATARI 5200, we got these wide boy cartridges that also have a trapdoor mechanism. Unlike the 2600, these don't have little prongs. They just have these little slots here that you do the same exact thing as you did with the 2600. You push this in, and then you push the rest of the trapdoor down with your finger. Once you got it, you can see the board, and just rinse and repeat. After the 5200, we had the 7800, which went back to these smaller cartridges, but this time has foregone the trapdoor. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope I helped you out. If I didn't, leave me a comment down below with the problem you're facing, and maybe I can help you out, make a video about it, or point you in the right direction. Check out the last video we did on cleaning cartridges. If you got any other questions, I go into a bit more specifics. Thanks for tuning in to the Nostalgic Network, and I'll see you next time.